Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Wedgie Woman, the fifth epic novel by Dav Pilkey. I will be reading chapters 1 through 10. Enjoy!
Hi everybody! Before you read this story, there's some stuff you need to know. Read this comic book to fill yourself in on the story so far. But remember, this info is top secret, so don't let it fall into the wrong hands. The Trouble with Captain Underpants. Now it can be told, an informal comic by George Harold. Once upon a time, there were two cool kids named George and Harold. We kicked butt. Me too. But they had a mean principal named Mr. Kerp. Come over here, bubs. No way. One time, George and Harold hypnotized Mr. Kerp with the 3D hypno ring. You will obey our command. Okay. George and Harold made him think he was a great superhero named Captain Underpants. Look, I'm Captain Underpants. Ha 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 ha. It was funny at first, but then Mr. Kerp jumped out the window. Hey, where do you think you're going? To fight crime, okay? George and Harold had to chase after him so he wouldn't get killed and hurt. Come over here, bub. No way. They had many adventures with lots of inappropriate humor. Diapers and toilets and poops away. Oh my. Then one day Mr. Kerp accidentally drank super juice. Superpower juice. Glub, glub, glub. Now he's got superpowers and he can fly too. Tra-la-la. Two things you have to be careful about this is water and finger snaps. For if you snap your fingers by Mr. Kerp, he turns into Captain Underpants. Tra-la-la. And if you pour water on Captain Underpants, his head, he turns back into Mr. Kerp. Blah, 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 blah. So, if you see Mr. Kerp, don't snap, or you'll be sorry. And if you see Captain Underpants, don't pour no water on his head, or you'll be sorry. Remember this is top secret, so don't tell anybody. Chapter 1. George and Harold. This is George Beard and Harold Hutchkins. George is the kid on the left with the tie and the flat top. Harold is the one on the right with the t-shirt and the bad haircut. Remember that now. On the wall, there's a sign and it says, "People, please wear your socks on the gym floor." At most schools, the teachers try to emphasize the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. But George and Harold's teacher, Mrs. Rebel, was more concerned with enforcing what she calls the 3 S's. Sit down, shut your pie holes, and stop driving me crazy. While this was unfortunate for all her students, it was especially bad for George and Harold because they were very, very imaginative boys. You see, imagination was not really encouraged at George and Harold's school. In fact, it was discouraged. Imagination would only get you a one-way ticket to the principal's office. This was sad for George and Harold because they didn't get straight A's, as they weren't sports stars, as they could barely walk down the hall without getting into trouble. They're rearranging the sign on the wall. It says, "Please go pee-pee on your socks for warm." See what I mean? But George and Harold had one thing that most of the other folks at Jerome Horowitz Elementary School didn't have: imagination, and they were full of it. And one day they would use that imagination to save the entire human race from being overthrown by a crazy woman with even crazier Mrs. Ripple enters the classroom looking a bit meaner than usual. "All right, settle down," shouted Mrs. Ripple. "I have some bad news. I'm retiring." "Hooray!" cried the children. "Not today," said Miss Ripple, "at the end of the school year." "Oh, man," moaned the children, "but the staff is throwing a retirement party for me today," said Miss Ripple. "Hooray!" cried the children. "During recess," said Miss Ripple. "Oh, man," moaned the children. "There will be lots of free ice cream," said Miss Ripple. "Hooray!" cried the children. "My favorite flavor, chunky tofu," said Miss Ripple. "Oh, man," moaned the children. "But first," said Miss Ripple, "it's time for something fun." "Hooray!" cried the children. "You all get to make me happy retirement cards just for me," said Miss Ripple. "Oh, man," moaned the children. Chapter 3. When you care enough to send the very best. Miss Ripple went around the classroom handing out envelopes, sheets, and construction paper, and butterfly stencils to all of the children. She wrote a poem on the chalkboard. "All right, take out your crayons," said Miss Ripple harshly. "I want you to use stencils to make a yellow butterfly on the front of your cards. When you're done, copy this poem inside. Roses are red, violets are blue. You are retiring and we'll miss you. Signed, your name here." "Can we make up our own poems?" asked Melvin Seeley. "No," snapped Miss Ripple. "Do we have to use stencils?" asked Erin Mancini. "Yes," yelled Miss Ripple. "Can we make our butterflies purple?" asked Stephanie York. "No," screamed Miss Ripple. "Butterflies are yellow. Everyone knows that." While the rest of the class worked on their cards, George and Harold had a better idea. "Let's make Miss Ripple a comic book instead." "Yeah," said Harold. "We can make it all about her. It'll be cool." So that's just what they did. Chapter 4. Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Wedgie Woman by George Beard and Harold Hutchins. Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Woman. Once upon a time there was a really mean teacher named Mrs. Ripple, who was very mean. Grr, I'm evil. She gave us lots of homework and yelled at us all the time. Read 250 pages for a test. Oh, man. One time, at Christmas vacation, she gave everyone 41 book reports. Oh, no. "Wake up. It's time to open up your presents." "I can't. I have homework to do." But after Christmas, everyone turned in a big pile of book reports. Ha ha ha. Then something terrible happened. Crash! Help! Miss Ripple was buried in a mountain of book reports. She really most sincerely is dead. "No, she's not. We can rebuild her," said the doctor. "We can make her better than she was, faster, stronger, eviler." When Miss Ripple got out of the hospital, she had bionic powers. "I will take over the world." Ha, 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 ha. So she made an evil costume. Her bionic beehive hairdo opened up to reveal an evil Wedgie Roboclaw. "Ouchies. Ha, ha, ha. Nobody can stop me now." Innocent bystander. "Help! Wedgie Woman is in the teacher's lounge. She just drank all the coffee, and now she's giving the gym teacher a killer wedgie. Oh, the horror. She better make me a fresh pot." Starch is the enemy of underwear. Warning, do not spray this product on your underwear or you'll be sorry. Wedgie woman sprayed. Gotcha. Oh no, my underpants is all stiff and uncomfortable. Captain Underpants tried to push the buttons on his utility waistband, but they were broke. He was powerless. I'm doomed. Wedgie woman gave Captain Underpants a big wedgie. Then she hung him from a flagpole. Soon some kids came by. Captain Underpants needs our help. So they threw him a rope. Catch. Then they pulled real hard and let go. Boing! Splashed right into the swimming pool. The kids poured fabric softener in the pool. Suddenly, the starch got washed away. Hooray! My underpants is super soft and cottony once again. Hallelujah. Thanks, kids. No problemo. Soon Captain Underpants found Wedgie woman. Remember me? Get him, Roboclaw. He flew up. It's Wedgie time. And looped around. And then Roboclaw reached for the underwear. But it grabbed the wrong pair. Owie. It's off to jail with you. Aw, man. Tra-la-la. Hooray. The end. Note, see, any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, is very, very unfortunate. Treehouse Comics Incorporated. Chapter 5. The Wrath of Miss Rebel. When Miss Rebel read the comic book that was George and Harold had made, she was furious. Boys, she yelled, you've just earned yourself a one-way ticket to the principal's office. But all we did was use our imaginations. You're not allowed to do that in school, said Mrs. Rebel. Didn't you read chapter 1? George and Harold gathered their things, and soon they were sitting in the office outside of Mr. Grubb's store. Mr. Grubb is on the phone, she said. The school secretary, Miss Anthrope. Why don't you boys make yourself useful and copy the Friday memo for me? You can pass them out to all the classrooms for me while I go to lunch. Aw, man, said George. Quit your whining, Buster, shouted Miss Anthrope. I want this done by the time I get back, or you'll both be sorry, said Miss Anthrope, and grabbed her coat and stomped out the door. Gerald Morowitz Elementary School Friday memo. Next week, Monday's band practice canceled. No practice today due to asbestos removal in the gymnasium. Tuesday, School Spirit Day. Show your school spirit by wearing school colors, gray and dark gray. Wednesday, cheerleader tryouts today. Anyone wishing to join the cheerleading squad must do the following. Number 1, meet in the gym after school. Number 2, have the school cheer memorized. Number 3, don't forget to wear your gym shoes. Thursday, football practice rescheduled. All football players report to the soccer field for early practice. Today only. Pep rally at 3:15 in the gym. Friday, yearbooks taken today. Yearbook photos taken today. Please dress appropriately. Anyone caught making funny faces will receive detention. George and Harold looked at the Friday memo. It was a weekly newsletter that told about all the events of the upcoming week. Hey, George. Hey, Miss Anthrop's computer is still on. You want to make a few changes to the newsletter? Why not? Said Harold. Friday memo. Monday, school canceled. No classes due players report to the teacher's lounge for early practice. Food fight at 12:15 in the lunchroom. Friday, yearbook photos taken today. Please wear bumblebee costumes. Also, whoever makes the funniest face wins a free pizza party for their class. So George and Harold typed up their own version of Jerome Horowitz Elementary School Friday memo. Then they ran off copies for all the students in the school. Chapter 6, The Retirement Card. George and Harold were gathering their new and improved Friday memo copies into small piles when Principal Krupp came into the office. "Hey," Mr. Krupp shouted, "what are you two troublemakers doing in here?" "Miss Anthrop told us to pass the Friday memo out to all the classrooms," said George innocently. "Well, make it snappy," yelled the principal. Suddenly, Harold got a sneaky idea. He took out the blank piece of construction paper that Mr. Ribble had given him earlier. "Hey, Mr. Krupp, will you sign this retirement card for our teacher?" Mr. Krupp grabbed the card from Harold and eyed it suspiciously. "This card is blank," Mr. Krupp growled. "I know. Our class is going to decorate it later. We wanted you to be the first to sign it." "Well, all right then," said Mr. Krupp. He opened the card and quickly scribbled, "Signed, Mr. Krupp." On the inside, he stormed out of the office. "What are you going to do with that?" asked George. "You'll see," said Harold, smiling. Chapter 7, Reverse Psychology. George and Harold passed out the Friday memo and made it back to their classroom just in time for Mr. Ribble's retirement party. George quickly changed the letters around on the sign outside the door, while Harold wrote a special greeting on Mr. Krupp's card and stuffed it into an envelope. "Have a blissfully grand retirement, Miss Ribble." Miss Ribble really needs a breath mint. "Hey, Bubs," shouted Mr. Krupp as he stormed down the hall. "What do you kids think you're doing?" "You're going to Mr. Ribble's retirement party," said George. "That's what you think, smart guy," said Mr. Krupp. "Miss Ribble showed me what that comic book you boys made about her, and now I catch you changing the letters around on another sign. You boys aren't going to any party. You're going straight to the detention room." "Well, fine," said Harold. "Then we're not going to give Miss Ribble the card from our class made for her." Mr. Krupp quickly swiped the card out of Harold's hand. "Aha! I'm going to make sure she gets my card. I'm going to give it to her myself." "Oh, man," said Harold. George and Harold walked down the hall towards the detention room. "Wow," said George. "That was pretty cool how you got Mr. Krupp to deliver that phony card for you." "Yep," said Harold. "I used reverse psychology on him. I've got to try that sometime," said George. "By the way, what did you write in that card?" "You'll see." Chapter 8, The Party. Mrs. Ribble's retirement party started off bad and just got worse. First, Miss Ribble forced the class to sing a corny song to her. By the time she was done yelling at the boys for singing off key, the chunky tofu ice cream had melted. Everybody had to eat it anyways. "We love Miss Ribble. Oh yes, we do. We don't love anyone as much as you. When you retire, we'll be blue. Oh, Miss Ribble, we love you." Then the children handed in their happy retirement cards. Miss Ribble ripped several of the cards up because some of the children had mistakenly drawn polka dots on their butterflies. One unfortunate boy had drawn a happy smiling sunshine on the card, and he had to stand in the corner. Finally, Miss Krupp stepped forward and handed Miss Ribble the card. He had snatched from Harold's hand. "I went to a lot of trouble to get this for you," Miss Krupp said gallantly. Miss Ribble tore the envelope open and read the card out loud. "You're one hot mama," said Miss Ribble, with a shocked look on her face. "Ew!" cried the children. She opened the card and read inside, "Will you marry me? Signed, Mr. Krupp." "Ew!" cried the children, and the teachers gasped. Then the room grew silent. Miss Ribble glared over at Mr. Krupp, who had began sweating profusely. He tried to speak. He tried to tell her it was all a big mistake. He tried something, but all that came out was congratulations, said Mr. Meaner as he patted Mr. Crump's sweaty, shivering shoulder. Yes, congratulations, shouted Miss Anthrop. This will be the best wedding in the whole world. We can have it here at the school a week from Saturday. I'll plan everything. You lovebirds don't have to worry about a thing. Thanks, said Miss Ripple, still looking quite angry and confused. Said Mr. Crupt. Chapter 9, Freaky Weeky. The following week at Jerome Horowitz Elementary School was definitely one of the weirdest ones we've seen in a while. For example, none of the kids showed up for school on Monday, but Mr. Crump didn't even seem to notice. Where is everybody today? Reacted Mr. Recton. Said Mr. Crump. On Tuesday, everybody did show up in their pajamas. Why is everyone picking their noses? Said Miss Fit. Said Mr. Crupt. On Wednesday, for some strange reason, the whole school smelled like garlic and rotten egg salad sandwiches, especially some of the girls. Boy, said Miss Guided, the styles today are sure getting bizarre. Baba, said Mr. Crump. Thursday was, without a doubt, a complete and total disaster. There's a food fight in the lunchroom, shouted Miss Roseworthy, and all the football team is destroying the teacher's lounge. Said Mr. Crump. Now nobody was sure what happened on Friday. Apparently, there was a mix-up with the dress code and the yearbook photos. Our school pictures are ruined, shouted Mrs. Dakin. Said Mr. Crupt. Yes, it was a freaky week, all right. But the big wedding was only a day away, and things were about to get really freaky. Chapter 10. The Big Wedding. It was Saturday, the day of the big wedding. Said Miss Anthrop, true to her word, had taken care of everything. In just 1 week, she had transformed the gymnasium into a beautiful wedding hall, complete with food, decorations, and even a 6-foot-tall ice sculpture. All of the children were dressed in their finest clothes. Harold even wore a tie. Man, said George, I can't believe we have to go to school on Saturday. I know, said Harold. Why couldn't they have had this wedding during Monday's math test? Soon the organist began to play. The rabbi walked down the aisle as he approached George and Harold and stopped to talk to the boys. I've heard a lot about you, too, said the rabbi, and I don't want you boys playing any of your tricks today. Silly rabbi, said George. Tricks are for kids. Believe it or not, George and Harold had not planned any pranks for the big wedding. They had no joy buzzers up their sleeves, no squirting flowers in their lapels, and no whoopee cushions in their chairs. They were on the best behavior. Nothing could go wrong today. In no time at all, Miss Ripple and Mr. Crupp were standing in front of the rabbi, looking quite ill. The rabbi asked Mr. Crupp if he would take Miss Ripple to be his lawfully wedded wife. Said Mr. Crupp. Then the rabbi asked Miss Ripple if she would take Mr. Crupp to be her husband. There was a long silence. Everyone leaned forward. Miss Ripple looked nervously from side to side. Suddenly she shouted at the top of her lungs, "No!" Miss Ripple turned to Mr. Crupp and jabbed her finger into his shoulder. "Listen, Crupp," she said, "I can't marry you." "Hooray! That's too bad," said Mr. Crupp. "You're mean, cruel, and the vicious man," said Miss Ripple. "I respect that. It's just what?" said Mr. Crupp. "It's just your nose," said Mrs. Ripple. "You've got the most ridiculous ridiculous nose. I'd never seen anything quite like it. I just couldn't marry somebody with such a silly nose. Miss Scrub got angry. Well, fine, he shouted. I didn't want to marry you anyway. It was all George and Harold's fault. They tricked us. Suddenly, everybody in the gymnasium turned and looked at George and Harold. Time to go, said George. And we'll continue the next story in our next video. Thanks for listening.